Hello everyone, it is Mike here and welcome. We got a special one here tonight, villains only. Villains only. And I know we're obviously going to miss out on some people. I'm going to just go ahead and say it right now, but we got Thanos here from Squid Games. This version. Yeah, he's an actual rapper and in real life. This is so cool, this entrance. I really like it. And he is from Squid Games. He is in Season 2. And great character, great villain. It is villains only. However, we are staying away from comics, and we are staying away from horror. We're going to stay away from those genres to make this more interesting and have movies, TV, all kinds of good stuff. Who is Thanos going to go up against? I hate calling him that because he's not that, obviously. He's just a player from Squid Games. Oh, my goodness. And, of course, he brought the smoke, the green smoke. And Shang Tzu is in the house. Oh, my goodness. And our front row seats are getting gassed right now. And it's a good thing we made him sign a waiver. Because when you're going to do villain... Oh, my goodness. Now it's raining fireworks on the people's heads. Because when you're going to do villains, I mean, you have no choice in life. But to make these people sign a waiver, you don't want to get sued. That's for sure. Wow. And we're kicking things off with these two. It's always... this is our first time we've ever seen Thanos. Well, he's a new character, basically. I mean, the first time I saw him was like a little bit after Christmas. So, he is brand new. He is a rapper called Top, though. His name is Top. He's a South Korean rapper. And we got Jaws in the house. James Bond Jaws. I think those metal teeth are so weird. I've never seen that James Bond movie. But those teeth are just... Yeah, I'd hate to be his dentist. He probably killed his dentist. So, I don't know anything about the character, but I always thought he was kind of cool. I haven't seen a lot of the Bond movies before Daniel Craig. I've only seen like one. And that was Diamonds Are Forever. I actually have never seen any of the other Bond movies. Even though I continue to say that Daniel Craig is the greatest. Because it's hard for me to believe that the other guys are better. He kind of has technology on his side, first of all. Because those are newer movies, so they can do better stunts. And I don't know what, Thanos is doing, but he does take pills in the show, so that would explain it maybe. And that's why he was acting the way he was at the entrance. I'm sure the person that made him did that on purpose. And we got Dr. Evil. Someone recommended him. I've never seen Austin Powers, though. Ever. And we got Syndrome, of course, one of the greatest. One of the greatest. I actually kind of root for the guy. I'm not going to lie. He has every right to be mad. Oh no, here we're back with asterisks again. And I think it's going to be the front man. Yes, it is. So the lead villain in Squid Games. The front man. So it's cool to have him. I like the front man a lot. The actor that plays the front man, he's one of the best. I mean, he's just one of the best. He's got all kinds of movies. It's not like this is his only show. He has all kinds of, films he's done in some of the biggest South Korean films ever. And we got Mr. X at 7, and there goes the front man. So much for him. And we've lost both of our people from Squid Games. poor Dr. Evil just get, I guess he's a joke kind of, but everyone says he's kind of like, I've never seen the movies, but everyone loves him and thinks he should be on this list. So I don't know how powerful he is. I think they're making fun of James Bond though. So, and we got Hades in the house. And like I said, we're going to miss out on a lot of better people. I was looking for Scar. I couldn't find him. He's kind of hidden in one of those 500 pages, and I wasn't gonna scroll through all those pages. So I just got whoever came across my mind first, or whoever was on the account, or sometimes I just came across these people, and Hades was one of those. And this guy right here, I don't know anything about Griffith, but I heard he's a bad dude. He's always on this top 10 anime list of villains. He's always on the top 10. So he must be a bad dude, because there's a lot of villains in anime, and he's in a lot of them. I didn't think he was a bad guy, but apparently I need to watch Berserk. It's on my list of things to do, but I heard it's pretty rough. But he's on a lot of lists for villains, and he's supposed to be super evil. And Captain Hook is number 10. I like his style because I don't know anything about the guy, so I don't want to vouch for him yet. But he kind of reminds me of a medieval Jeff, so I kind of dig it. I think he looks pretty cool, but he's probably like the most heinous person in the world. So I don't want to vouch for him, because I know that show's supposed to be pretty dark. But I need to watch it, and in Books A Million, they're always covering that book up. So it must be pretty bad, or the manga or whatever. And we got Crane at number 11. And I know, where's Shredder? I just didn't come across him. And there goes Griffith. So Griffith is finished. And we got Fade. This guy is, I'm probably saying his name wrong. He's from Dune. He was great. Austin Butler was so good in that movie. So, yeah, I definitely have to put him in. I like him better than the big guy. There's the Baron guy who just sits there and eats and hogs himself to death. I like him a lot better. I'm not a big fan of, villains that aren't that active. I just think you need to be able to back up a fight. Even the genius villains, like some of these genius villains that are just super smart, like Glass, in the Glass movie, or the movies he's in. I know he's super smart, but he couldn't. I think a villain should be able to back himself up in a fight. I think that makes a great villain. I think that's one thing that can make a great one. And that guy can fight. He's really good. And we got Pete here. So I kind of just came across him also. And I was like, oh, DJ's going to love this guy. Because I guess he's a Mickey villain. And we got Ring Wraith. I love getting this one. We got some new faces here. And this was a really hard one to do because he doesn't technically have a head. But I really like the Ring Wraiths in Lord of the Rings. They're the Witch Kings. They're I forget their whole backstory, but I always found them fascinating because they kind of remind me of a Grim Reaper. And I always thought they were cool. Still my favorite Lord of the Rings villain's Lurtz. Lurtz is my boy. He's one of the best. I wish he would have got a little bit more time. And we got Cobra Commander at 15. Who's another great villain. I never really watched a lot of G.I. Joe. I did have some of the figures. Like, I remember my boy Dusty. I love that name, Dusty. And Heavy Duty, and there was Duke, of course. And then the villains, there was Shadow Storm or Storm Shadow. I always get it mixed up. And Cobra. And I remember a character called Beachhead. I really like Beachhead. He's a pretty laid-back guy. But I never really watched the show. I did have some of the figures. And I always thought that some of them were really cool looking. And, of course, Cobra's done. And I actually like the newer version of Cobra with, like, kind of the, not that mask, but the other one. I know that's the classic one. So, and Mr. X fighting for his life here, or maybe not. We'll see what Pete can do. And Hook is off the hook for sure, because he's done. He's done. I'm not a big fan of him. I don't like that whole cartoon. I think he's pretty lame. I actually like the crocodile the best of that whole. I don't even like Peter. I don't like none of it. That's not one of my favorite classics. So and there goes Jaws. So we got some heavy guys here. And we got Jango Fett at 16. Which, where's Bubba? I could have put him in, but Django's more of a villain. Because Bubba kind of changes, I guess, in the show, if you want to count that show. Even though, the original movies, he's definitely a villain. But I think I wanted to just do Django instead, because we've had Bubba before. And we have from Terminator 2, one of the T's, the cop, played by, what's his name? What's that guy's name? Goodness, Robert, I want to say Robert Patrick, but I could be wrong. He's one of those guys that you always see his face, but you never remember his name. I think it's that. I think I got it right. But he's in, like, everything. Him and that guy, Chris Cooper. You always see Chris Cooper everywhere you go, too. He was, like, in 1,000 movies one time. I could have swore. Like, everything I watched, he was in. That Chris guy. And we got Voss at 18. Of course, you have to have him. Definitely one of the best video game villains ever that I've ever seen. What's the definition of insanity? Completely insane. And I definitely like him over Pagan Men, or definitely over the Far Cry 5 villains, who are just horrible in everything imaginable. So, I can't stand it. I hate that game. I just absolutely hate Far Cry 5. I think one of the points of having Far Cry is being in the jungle, not being in, the Midwest. And, who did we lose there? Oh, Django. We lost Django. I like the prequels. I really do. I know they get a lot of crap. And we got Agent Smith at 19, and I'm so glad now that the prequels are tolerable. Because of the, Disney taking over Star Wars and ruining that terrible, just horrible. It has nothing to do with the politics of the movies. It's just bad writing, and that's what it is. The Force Awakens is good, and Mando's good. And what's that show called? Andor. Good show. I like Andor. But these other shows, The Acolyte was, oh my God. It had a couple great moments in it, but it had some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard in my life. When you have people literally saying, when you have a Jedi literally saying that I get stomach sickness in hyperspace. It's like when one of the apprentices of a master Jedi advised her we shouldn't go to hyperspace because you get sick. It's like, and she's looking at him like, you really just said that out loud? It's like, what is this? It's like, and that one guy that I watch that loves to talk about Star Wars, he mentioned that the guy looks like an accountant that said it. He doesn't even look like a Jedi. He looks like the accountant for the Jedi, for their budget. That's what he looks like. Of course, some of the Jedis, they look horrible. We've talked about this 100 times before. Especially Giraffe Neck, whoever that guy is. He looks terrible. I mean, can you imagine him fighting? His neck is in the way. He has to look down. It must be horrible. He must be one of the smart ones that can't back it up. And it looks like we lost Agent Smith, which I really like Agent Smith. Or did we? Yeah, we lost Agent Smith. He's great. Hugo Weaving, of course, has some iconic roles. Whether it be Agent Smith or V for Vendetta, I love all of his roles. Really good. And Crane, look here. Davey's going to use the eye rake. All right. And Pete's still alive. And everyone loves this character in Terminator 2. They love that villain. I mean, he's one of the best. He definitely never stops coming. But I have to tell you, and a lot of people are going to disagree, I like number one better. I think Arnold's a better villain. And we got Vecna, which is an up-and-comer. He's kind of been around in different forms, but he is from Stranger Things. I think he's fantastic. I think he's a fantastic villain. Him and the Frontman and Homelander are definitely the villains of the recent years that are just great. Of course, I would add Lalo in there also. And I know he's not in this, but there's so many people that are getting left out. But Lalo from Better Call Saul, he's a great villain also. Oh man, that guy is frightening. And he's very calm. He's one of those calm killers. So, there's a lot of great villains in Breaking Bad. Minus Tuco. I don't like Tuco. He's kind of, intoxicated. So, you want a villain that can think clear. And you know the rule, never get high on your own supply. And that's Tuco's problem. So, I think he's the worst of the villains. Of course, that's season 1. So, I mean, you got Gus, of course, which is the best Breaking Bad villain. And even Uncle Jack is good, and Todd. They're really good villains. That show has a lot of great villains. And there goes Pete. And we got Homelander, speaking of great villains. And now Chris Walker from Outlast. He was one that, I know, like, why? Why would you throw him in? First of all, I think he looks awesome. Then second of all, he was already on the account, so it makes it easy. And less time I have to put into it. So... And Davey, oh man, could not lift out Liquid Man. He's a great villain, and and what I love about him and Arnold, when Arnold's a villain, is they never stop coming. They never stop coming. They're just constantly after you, and no matter what you do to them, you have to do like 100 things to them. And I respect that. I love villains like that. And we got Mojo Jojo. I love Mojo Jojo. I always thought he had a cool name. I know he's Powerpuff, but who cares? I like that show as a kid. I don't care. I know it's meant for more of girls than guys, but I think a lot of guys like that show. Some just don't want to admit it. When I was a kid, I did. I don't know if I would enjoy it now. But I always loved Mojo Jojo. I love that name. That name is so awesome. And him also. Him is creepy. And I love those two. I don't like that pink guy. Whatever his name is. He's kind of lame. And there's a bad version of the Powerpuff Girls also. I like them. And Davey's still alive. Look at Crane. And we got, I think this guy's name is, I think they got his first name wrong. But he's from One Piece. Another situation, he was there. You know, I know Goldie Roger. I think he's the main villain. Or there's a lot more than just this guy, but he was already on the account. So I was like, you know, and of course I had to get some new faces to make this, you know, different than some of the other ones we've had in the past. I know some of you all, you don't say it, but if I was you all, I'd get kind of tired of seeing some of these people over and over again. And I know, obviously, there's some favoritism going on with some of these people, but we got Hans Gruber here. Oh, man. From Die Hard. One of my favorites. Hans. I love Die Hard. That movie's so good. Oh my goodness, Homelander with the just beautiful spear. But yeah, Hans is one of the smartest villains. You know I said that you should be able to back it up. I mean, he's not the best fighter on his team. The one guy who, you know, the guy with the long hair, I forget his name. I forget if he's a Russian guy or what country he's from. I think he's from another country, but I've seen that movie so many times I should know. But he's definitely the toughest of the team. And after Bruce Willis kills his brother, oh man, he doesn't even care about the money anymore. He just wants Bruce Willis's head. I think Hans did like one of the smartest things ever as a villain. He definitely... I love when he acted like a hostage. That is the smartest thing ever. And like I said, the other guy's tougher, but he's definitely the brains of the operation. But to act like a hostage, oh my goodness, that's just genius. I mean, and I think he read a name off of the, thing and said he was that guy. Which he totally fools Bruce Willis there for a little while. Even fakes an accent, I believe. Darth Vader's 27. But he does a lot of smart things. He's a really good villain. I like him better than the guy from his relative from Die Hard with a Vengeance. I think that's his brother. Jeremy Irons plays him, I think. I'm trying to recall. They're somehow related. I think maybe that's his brother. But I don't like that movie. I think that movie's I think it ends really well. But I like Die Hard 1 and 2. And I've never seen 4 or 5. I think there's like 5 of them. But I heard they get really bad after 3. So I didn't enjoy 3. So and we got Clarence, of course, made by Lucas. I absolutely hate this guy. And, talk about an overkill to Alex Murphy from RoboCop. But yeah, I absolutely hate Clarence. I don't like any of the villains in RoboCop. They just made me so mad because of what they did to poor Alex, it's overkill. It's totally overkill. Even Family Guy makes fun about how overkill it is. We got Nemesis at 29, which I think is one of the coolest looking villains ever. And always glad to have him. Of course, he's a national treasure on here. He's done so much for us over the years. And I think he's in these games a lot because of his appearance in Resident Evil 2. Not the game, but the movie, The Apocalypse. I think that's what it's called. I think that's why he gets a lot of, people to make him on here. And 30, we have Ivan Drago. Of course, we have to have Ivan Drago. We have to have him. And of course, I missed out on a few. Voldemort, Sauron. We missed a few really good ones. Gaston, Scar. So shout outs to them. There's we could do like 3 or 4 of these if we had the time. If we had the time, we could do 3, 4, maybe 5 of these. There's so many villains, it's unreal. But I try to stay away from comics, and I know I said no horror, but I'm not counting. This is more the game version. And I know Outlast can fall in that genre also, but I was talking about movies specifically. So I didn't want any like Jason or Freddy. I didn't want those guys. Because, you could come up with a list there. There's so many of those guys. And we see those guys all the time. So I did put games in. And I know we missed out on a couple other. Bowser, Wario. Some really good ones we missed. But, I had to go with what I had. And I had limited time to do it. So I've been really busy. So I've had limited time to do this. And there goes Vader, who is probably the greatest. If we're not counting Joker, Vader's the greatest. By far. And Nemesis makes it look so easy. As he just goes after everyone in his path. Really haven't had any standouts because, we've had so many destructive people. Chris Walker's probably been in here the longest. But it's been hard to stay in. Because, look at the competition. The competition's unreal. So we are down to 4. And Clarence is definitely, he's going to get pulverized. There was no way he was going to make it between these 4. He was definitely the weakest link. But Lucas did a great job with him. He's a big 70s show fan, so he's got Red Foreman you can also get. And make sure to show him some support. He always needs it, and he makes these better because, he really puts in the work. Now, a lot of these people do. So if you like anyone, make sure you support it and get them. And there goes Drago. So we are down to these 2. Wow. And I know they're still part of the horror genre, but like I said, I was trying to stay away from the horror movies. And Nemesis could be both, but this is, you know, I meant the main guys, the slashers. That's who I meant the most. I thought about putting the Pale Man. I could have put him in. But I was mainly, you know, speaking about your basic slashers, or your Wolfmans and your creatures, and, you know, stuff like that. They're part of the game, I'll let it slide. I should have went more for other people, though, but I already had like 10 on my account because I love villains. They're way more interesting than heroes are, that's for sure. And Nemesis, he's got it. Wow. And what a performance. Always does good. But he's not going to WrestleMania. Look at that face. That is a face only a mother could love, if not even that. I mean, I don't even know if mom can love that face. I don't know what he's doing. What in the world? He cut the power. What is he doing? Oh, come on. It doesn't matter where you point from. You're not going. You're not going. It doesn't matter where you point from or look at it. Don't make eye contact with it. Don't make eye contact with it. You know, you may not have pointed at the sign, but I know what you're going for. I know where your eye's going. You're not going to WrestleMania. Give it up. Your dreams are over. You're not allowed. But anyway, the villains did it again. And they were great. And I really enjoyed this. I know a lot of people got left off. Tell me who you would wish to see. Because obviously we missed a bunch. And we weren't going for the best ones. We were going for whatever we could find first. So I hope you all enjoyed it. And I'll see you all later.